Okay, Mayuresh Joshi of Angel Broking is with us to analyze this and more. Mayuresh, good morning. How would you read this news flow? Would you construe it as positive, considering they're giving money back to shareholders? Or do you think that it could be a long-term negative because, they could have utilized this cash better in an environment like this?
Morning, Sonia. I think again it's a classical argument of how to deploy the cash on balance sheets. So TCS in excess of 43,000 odd crores, Infosys in excess of 35 odd thousand crores. HCL Tech has done its fair bit of acquisitions and mergers over the past. So has Wipro. So I think to that extent, Infosys and TCS, I think the expectations were always high, whether they'll have an increased dividend payout or whether they'll buy back the shares to enhance shareholder value, or they go to that inorganic route, do further acquisitions, which can be value accretive going forward. But in TCS's case specifically, I think I do not consider this to be negative for the stock per se. Clearly, I think with the kind of cash balance that they've got and the kind of volume growth that we are seeing picking up, specifically in businesses like digital, which have picked up 30% year on year. BFSI has shown signs of bottoming out, specifically on the diligent end. And largely, again, I think the volatility in that time in India should bottom out in a quarter or two. The headwind for the IT sector, generally with H1B visa, with utilization levels still not improving, is probably there. But again, I think the attrition levels have come down significantly for top tier stocks. TCS attrition levels were very manageable at 11.3%. Infosys has managed to get it down to 15 odd percent. So largely, again, I think it's a story on how the transformation on the digital front is taking place. The companies are cognizant of the fact of lower level hiring in lieu of H1B visa rules as well. So I think the stickiness in terms of numbers can continue for a quarter or two to 3 quarters, if I may put it that way. But largely, again, I think over a 2-year view, again, stocks are extremely attractively priced at this point of time. So in my opinion, again, I think a staggered way of buying a basket of large cap IT stocks is the way I look at it, taking into view that if H1 visa does come, I think it will reduce sort of volatility and impact cost in buying these stocks over a period of time.
Thanks a lot for that, Mayuresh. Just want to invite your attention, if you can see the television, to breaking news on CNBC TV 18. Reliance Infra's deal with Brookfields apparently may have fallen through. It looks like that deal will not happen. We haven't got a comment from Rel Infra just yet, though we have reached out to them. But if they don't get the money from Brookfields for that expected or proposed planned stake sale, then the company will have to raise funds through its InvIT, its investment trusts, for which, of course, it has government approval. But I just want to add that InvITs have not been a rage. We've had, I think, IRB Infra's InvIT. Otherwise, we don't have too many InvITs. It clearly is not an idea that has taken off with any roaring success. So, Rel Infra at the moment may not be likely to getting money anytime soon from Brookfields. It has to take the slow path of selling off or monetizing its other road assets one by one. We will get our correspondent Timsi Jaipuria, who broke the story. Okay, Timsi is with us, I believe. Timsi, tell us, what did you pick up?
Yes, Reliance Infra has applied for an InvIT and has got an in-principle nod of Finance Ministry also. And they have submitted a proposal saying that our talks with Brookfield are not happening right now. So we would like to raise an InvIT to cut their debt. So there's a clear-cut debt restructuring which is happening in the company, and they have now changed the strategy. Without going through the road selling process, they now want to raise an InvIT. They haven't told the amount of the InvIT, how much money they plan to raise through an InvIT, but yes, they have applied and they will put all their 11 assets in this InvIT right now. Reliance Infra does not have more than 11 road assets right now, and if they're putting the entire portfolio in the InvIT, that means their talks are not happening with Brookfield any longer. However, we've asked for a company comment. Let's see when we hear from the company.
Do you have any timeline for the InvIT?
No, they haven't given any timeline, but most likely it is going to come in the next 6 to 8 months.
Okay, so the very fact that they have sought permission and gone ahead with the InvIT indicates that the Brookfields conversation may have fallen through the cracks. We'll have to wait and see for Rel Infra's comments itself. We'll do one thing, we'll take a break. We are coming back, we have lots more questions for our guests, and we will be joined by Vinod Sharma of HDFC Securities as well for F&O Strategies.
The SGX Nifty is indicating that there could be a flat start with a bit of a positive bias. A lot of Asian markets like the Hong Kong, Shanghai are all holding up marginally in the green this morning. Vinod Sharma joins in now to give us his view on the F&O space. Vinod, hi, good morning. Given that the market has been a bit, sluggish below that 8800 mark, you think that could prove to be a resistance once again today, or could we take that out at some point?
Yeah, it has now proved to be a resistance. There are multiple tops which have been formed around 8820. So I think unless the market is able to close successfully above 8830, till that point of time, I think the intraday traders who only have the capability to trade long can take a holiday. For the time being, intraday holiday. On the lower side, I think we have a very strong intraday support at 8685 that might hold. And very long-term support comes around 8537. So we are in an uptrend, but since we have closed at a low, yesterday's fall was almost the lowest since 1st of Feb. So I think there is some room on the downside. However, one needs to be stock specific.
Vinod, good morning. So let's discuss stocks. I believe your TCS strategy will have to be changed because obviously the call will not open at the price at which you have mentioned.
Yes.
But Hexaware and TCS also now, how will you adjust the strategy?
Yeah. These calls, both on TCS and Hexaware came yesterday, and therefore I think the markets will now prove that perhaps the direction will be higher. So you don't change the strategy. What you do is you buy that instead of 2450 call, maybe you'll buy the higher call at around 2460, 2470 at whatever level the stock opens. Keep a stop loss of around 30% in that call, whatever premium, and opt for almost 50% rise in the call premium appreciation, what you can look forward to in case of TCS. Hexaware, where things are pretty stable, I think one can buy the 3.80 when one can buy the 210 call at 3.80 rupees, stop loss at 2.5 and a target around 7. This is a stock which has seen huge open interest being built up in the series, 34%. The stock is up almost 6% yesterday in the whole of the series now. So that is relatively a stronger bet among the smaller stocks.
Okay, the pre-open rates are flashing, and of course the stock of the moment would be TCS. Let's just pull that out. In pre-open it would be up 10%, but of course that will change. Already changing, but will be interesting to see Infosys as well, because this is going to be a sectoral move in today's trade. Infosys as well up about 2%, but that would mean that at least for starters, Nifty is in the green, but things would change.
A bit random actually, Power Grid went to 10%, ICICI went to 10%. I mean, it's extremely random. I think we just will have to allow the markets to settle down. TCS even marked red one trade, or one bid. Let's, I think, return to these numbers. There it goes, -7, -4 on TCS. I think it's a little random.
The one thing that you can say is that Tata Motors could be under more pressure today after that 10% slide yesterday. In pre-opening, in fact, Tata Motors is down an additional 0.5%. Okay, now it's moved up 0.5%, so maybe you can't say that too. But yeah, let's get back to our guests and find out what their strategies are. Anything else that you would like to talk about in terms of individual stocks?
Yeah, in terms of individual stocks, I think going for IGL. Is another stock which has continued to do well, although positions were pruned yesterday to the extent of 8%. But I think for a stock that is built up 45% OI and gone up 12%, I think this stock has further room to close as far as this settlement is concerned. So I'm buying the 1060 call here at around 13 rupees, keeping a tight stop loss at 8. And hoping that it will sell at around 21 by the time the series closes. Okay,
and you have a couple of put spreads, interesting, DHFL and Hindustan Zinc.
Yeah, this is essentially to protect if you hold these stocks. It is because these stocks have done well for themselves, but currently they are in a bit of a short-term downtrend. So the one I was saying, I am suggesting to buy the 290 put and sell the 280 put. This will essentially make the cost of acquisition, creation of this bear spread will be 2.5, and the maximum profit that one can hope to make is 7.5. In case of Hindustan Zinc, I am buying the 285. I'm buying the 290 put and selling the 285 put. The cost will be 3.5 and 2.30 respectively. So the cost comes to 1.20 of constructing this bear spread, and the maximum profit that one can hope is 3.820 rupees. This will obviously mean that people who want to change their positions need not create this spread, because it is the cost of exiting this bear spread would be higher. So therefore, if you want to just protect, then you can hold on to the series, and in case the stocks do go up, then the cost of protecting essentially comes down through construction of a bear spread.
Well, actually, the other stock that has been losing steam after some vertical rally have been the telecom stocks. Bharti has lost, what, some 20-25 rupees in the past few days. The man who kind of shook that industry spoke yesterday at the NASSCOM meeting, Mukesh Ambani. Just listen to a slice of the conversation and let's discuss telecom stocks.
To my mind, data is the new natural resource, and fundamentally you have to have a lot of people to generate data and use data. So in that sense, India is naturally blessed with its 1.3 billion people. Data in its raw form, right, is useful, but for it to have real value, it has to be processed into intelligence. And we are really at the beginning of that era where data is really the new oil, and India, just with its talent and young population in this natural resource, will have a competitive advantage. You know, I really think that we are at a very exciting time in human history, and the way I think about it, and now this is said, but I think about it simply in terms of what does the fourth industrial revolution mean for us, right? And I think that all of you being in the IT industry understand exponential, and I think that we are on the verge of exponential change.
Okay, well, that's the word coming in from Mukesh Ambani. But for the market, Bharti is in fact your biggest nifty loser. Citi has downgraded the stock this morning to a neutral. So that as well has some additional pressure seen there. Similar topics being spoken about. The competitive intensity is unlikely to abate, etc. Mayuresh, in the telecom space, I know you've been bearish on this space for a while, but what's your view now? You expect more downsides?
No, Sonia, again, if you clearly go by numbers are not encouraging in terms of how the financial performance has been. Voice ARPUs are on a downtrend. And again, as Mr. Ambani was speaking, I think data is going to be the focal point for telecom companies going forward. But even on that front, if you look at the data realizations per megabyte, they are clearly falling down quarter after quarter. So you can see the competition intensity clearly playing out on these stocks in terms of core realizations panning out. And that is not getting offset by data volumes. Clearly, again, with the entry of a player like Jio, the additional pressure in terms of pricing would still continue. So the news surrounding merger, consolidation that we are probably hearing within the industry itself, if one really goes by the numbers, I think that should be some sort of a solace for the industry. But largely, again, I think I do not expect numbers to improve per se for these players, at least for the next 2 to 3 quarters. And again, I think the typical factors which are plaguing their earnings growth and cash flow momentum is the kind of leverage on their books. And again, with no pricing coming through, at least in terms of pricing power, my own sense is that the underperformance purely in terms of financial numbers might very well continue for telecom players.
Okay, some sanity in the rates now. TCS is up 1.5%, Infosys is up 1.5%. So maybe the market, it's already rallied a lot. So maybe the market would want to hear out on exact quantum pricing. Also the buyback and
the extent of promoter participation.
Exactly, and the stocks have rallied. SBI could actually be the interesting stock. That's up 2.5% in pre-open now, almost approaching 3% mark, and there are decent volumes.
Actually, that is what I was coming to. You know, it's not just SBI as you point out, 2.75%. The second biggest gainer is actually Bank of Baroda. And ICICI as well was in the green just a little while back. I mean, there isn't so much going for the banking stocks, but there is a subterranean conversation now whether the bad bank should be taken too seriously. I'm not saying that it is evolved into a stage where a policy decision will be taken, but it's just gaining ground. So, you know, since they have seen a lot of selling, some news will come in to perhaps put a flaw to them. It's not just SBI, but other stocks are also kind of moving up.
You know, let's take Ashwini's thoughts on PSU
SBI.
banks. Ashwini, yesterday, for last 2 or 3 days, we have seen a breakdown in, say, Bank of Baroda. How would you approach these names today, SBI and Bank of Baroda, and some of the other mid-cap PSU banks as well?
See, Bank of Baroda had a very strong, downside action, post the day of the results. Now, those levels need to be crossed for any sort of positivity to come back. So maybe if I have to choose between the two, probably go with SBI. But overall, big money does not seem to be coming into the market. So all of these big stocks, as you've seen, even the buyback, is exciting the stocks up to 1.5%. So maybe you need to look at smaller stocks to make good money.
There's also a bit of a recovery seen in the Tata Motors twins. So Tata Motors and Tata Motors DVR are both up about 0.7% to 1.2% at the moment. Let's see whether that recovery sustains. But Sudarshan, any thoughts on how to approach these two stocks after the big damage we've seen over the last few days?
Yes, I don't think there is any buying opportunity in Tata Motors or the DVR. The opportunities are elsewhere. I've talked about Ashok Leyland as well as M&M.
Okay. Well, this morning Cyient also is doing well. It appears to have signed up for some joint agreement. I'm not sure of the details, but that stock is slightly up and about at this juncture. Well, Mayuresh, are you doing anything with the banks? SBI, for instance, as the merger gets closer?
So again, well in the news, Lata, and largely again I have been positive on SBI for a period of time. My entire sense is that as credit growth starts picking up over the next few quarters, SBI with its branch network, with the capital adequacy it's got, the balance sheet expansion should be far more smoother for SBI compared to the other PSU banks. Even in terms of their asset quality issues, a lot has got recognized both in terms of provisioning as well as in terms of the watch list that they've probably created. So in that sense, as the concerns start abating on their balance sheet with working capital constraints for a lot of user industries start going down, specifically on iron and steel, metals, real estate, gems and jewelry, you'll see credit growth picking up steadily and credit costs coming down, which will improve their ROAs, ROEs. So again, I think I'll remain positive on SBI within the PSU space. And even the corporate facing private banks like an ICICI Bank, I think the worst in my opinion should probably get over in the coming quarter, and the same logic probably applies for ICICI Bank. So I think apart from HDFC Bank, ICICI Bank and SBI would probably be the standouts for the banking universe for me.
Okay, thanks for that. Well, markets are actually settling in with a mild shade of green, something we have not seen in a bit. We have seen, the market sulking. Let's see if this one will hold. And actually, the leaders of this market are not the IT stocks to such an extent. It's only TCS with 1.9%, as Anuj pointed out, and Infosys with a mild 0.8%. So it's not a runaway rally that the IT stocks are indicating at this point in time. Ashwini, you still won't trade the Nifty, will you?
I don't think Nifty or the Bank Nifty, or for that matter, even the IT index is showing a good open that I would like to chase. Similarly, TCS, Infosys, you don't expect this 0.5%, 2% type of open. So pretty lukewarm. So I would be open to other ideas as well.
Such as?
Such as we'll know once the market opens.
Okay, but Ashwini, a word on telecom, because today it looks like Bharti Airtel could start with 1% cut. Idea, of course, has been quite volatile of late. Anything here?
See, telecom is moving sideways after that large run, and possibly we need more news flow to come in and maybe a deal to happen before it makes the next move.
Sudarshan, sorry. Similar question to you actually. Is there any sell opportunity opening up in the likes of Bharti or even an ITC?
Selling in a bull market is always fraught with danger. But with that warning, both Bharti and ITC, the stocks you named, could be available for intraday shorting today.
Just a quick word, Mayuresh, from your end on Nestle, because that stock is down. The pace of recovery is quite slow in the earnings. What would your view be?
Again, Sonia, I think the earnings recovery is going to be very, very slow and gradual for Nestle. And if you look at the management transcript, the new managing director has probably come into place for Nestle. And the entire fiasco that we saw on Maggi, they're probably trying to rebuild the entire brand in terms of spending exercises as well, and in fact in terms of communication processes as well. Now they're also trying to get into newer segments like healthcare, nutrition, skincare. Now skincare is almost 11,000 crore odd market. HUL is almost having a 48% of a leadership position there, and you've got local competitors like an Imami and not to mention the least, I think, Patanjali. So again, I think competition intensity is going to be huge into the newer segments that it is trying to foray. On the beverages side, coffee is one segment which has gained significant market share and where it still regains top spot, but HUL again is catching up on the beverages space there. So again, I think the confectioneries, what happens with the baby food market, I think they're growing at a very tepid pace for Nestle, and the facelift is going to take time. So my own sense is that the earnings were very well be sluggish. It's going to be a very slow and gradual recovery, and the multiples are on the higher side. So again, if you're holding the stock at lower levels, continue holding, but I think it doesn't make sense in buying the stock at the current juncture.
Okay, Ashwini, two questions. Is the market showing weakness that's, perceived positive news is also not taking, at least in pre-open, we'll know at open what happens with stocks like Infosys and TCS and your 914 call?
See, a very simple insight is that if a sideways consolidation keeps going and going and going and does not break out, finally, the weakness tends to set in. What happened yesterday was the long positions tend to get tired. If by 10 o'clock again, we have 2 advancers, so 5 decliners, that's not a good situation.
Okay, and 914 call?
914, I think escorts, even if it dips a bit, should be bought. This is a buy with a stop of 400. Look for targets of 425.
Okay, Mitesh, can we get one more call from you on Tata Motors? After dropping like a stone, it seems to be finding support today. Is there a trade?
I would rather trade the DVR1. I think, anything close to about levels of 275 would be excellent shorting opportunities. I think with the fall in the last 2 days, the trend is firmly on the downside.
Okay, well, that leaves just about 10 seconds for the markets to open. We don't have a very clear opening as far as the indices are concerned. It's about 0.1 up or 0.15 up as far as the Nifty is concerned. Mid-caps likewise. There goes the bell, and yes, that's where the markets open, about 15-20 points higher. 8745, 8750 not crossed. So we'll have to wait with that. The big stock TCS, let's just pull that out. It's showing a 2.5% gain, and it is the leader in the Nifty, closely followed by SBI, which has moved one step closer to the merger. So 1.5% higher on SBI, and then Infosys now catching up, 1.6 higher on Infosys. So that's the top 3 stocks which are in the news, and all 3 in the green. Tata Motors now seeing some bit of short covering, 1.2 higher. There are people who are extending Chandra's conversation with Shireen to mean that other Tata stocks could also consider buyback. But we'll have to wait and see on that. That's taking a huge leap. Tata Steel as well is up. So all the Tata stocks are up today along with TCS, Tata Motors and Tata Steel as well. And of course all the IT stocks are up. Infosys and Tech Mahindra up in the green about 1%, and HCL Tech also is up about 0.9%. So all the IT stocks up and about. And then come the banks. Axis Bank is up about 0.7%. Then it's random. Okay, Wipro I forgot. That's up 0.6%. Hindalco, Lupin, BHEL, Maruti, ONGC are all among the green. And now the Nifty is actually gathering pace, a 0.25% higher, 20 points up. The Sensex is up about 75, and the Bank Nifty. So all of them actually up about 0.2 at this juncture. Mid-caps?
In the mid-cap space, the theme that's playing out really is the SBI impending merger. As we told you in our top 10 segment, the SBI now is closer to the merger. The merger has been approved. So all of the smaller SBI babies, State Bank of Mysore, SBBJ, State Bank of Travancore are all up about 5 to 7% right now, and volumes are also picking up over there. Apart from that, you have some of the other smaller banks also looking good. Bank of Maharashtra is up almost 2.5%. There's some trading rally there. Punjab and Sindh Bank is also up almost about 3% or so. You have GNFC, which has been the big mover. That one too is up almost about 4% today. And Nectar Life Sciences is having a good run, so 4% higher on that particular counter. Apart from that, some of the stocks that have been in the news, Nestle. Remember, Nestle has seen a slowdown in growth this time around. So that stock is down almost about 3% odd. In fact, there's been a decline in the gross margins for Nestle, and it's taking a beating because of that. Escorts is coming in for some profit taking after that big run that we saw yesterday, and a couple of other names in the broader markets, Relcom, etc., are down. The entire telecom space is down, so Relcom too is taking a bit of a beating. HDIL from the real estate space is also under pressure, but largely flat, you'd have to say. Anuj, just consolidating, but now we've been moving to sort of lower levels, grinding to lower levels for the past few days. So now, as opposed to being flat at 8,800, it's now flat at around 8,730.
It's a weak start, I would say, given all the news flow that we had. And I won't be surprised if we have read at any point on all the major indices, Nifty, Bank Nifty as well. And mid-cap index, I think, is very vulnerable. Thursdays and Fridays, normally in correcting markets, are reserved for mid-cap punishments. But let me take it to Ashwini. Ashwini, your comment on market opening and if you have spotted any big trade for the day.
See, ITC is opened, 2% lower. So if you can get long on, say, Infosys, TCS, while the opens haven't been great out there as well, ITC could balance it with a short trade because it's opened below yesterday's low, and yesterday was an up day. So this is a fairly significant fall. So I think ITC you can go short on and maybe go long on some of the tech stocks.
Okay, well, actually, yeah, that was also Sudarshan's reply when I asked him about ITC. Sudarshan, anything has moved into your radar now?
Well, the markets are not giving a message. If at all there is a message, it's of mild weakness. So don't go long in the indices, at least not now. Individual stocks, I think there is a scope for buying in IT stocks.
That's the question that I was going to ask Ashwini as well. The rally or the opening in the IT stocks is quite lackluster. I mean, it's 1.5% for TCS, barely 1% for some of the others. What do you do after the opening tick, Ashwini?
Well, I think you should get better levels than what we have right now. So try to buy the dips. If one index is going to outperform on the upside, it'll probably be IT. So you'll probably have IT in the green and banks in the red, that kind of situation. But obviously there isn't big money moving the market on either side, so chances are that the gains will be modest.
Okay, Mitesh, Bank Nifty is almost in the red, weekly options expiry as well. Any trades?
So I would want to see the Bank Nifty break 20,100. I think below that I would want to take a short with a 120 point kind of stop and look for a target of around 19,930 to begin with, possibly 19,800.
Vinod, anything to add now after market opening?
I think I'm not looking at the markets per se, but I would say that I would be hesitant to add because I still see the markets going down. But should the Nifty come to a level of around 8685, I would be a buyer. I'd be a buyer at that level. Okay. So I'll be a buyer at declines, but not at the current level.
Okay. Fortis is the other stock that's also moving up higher. It was a part of our top 10, remember, where our colleague Ekta was telling us that the private equity firm TPG is looking to combine both Fortis and Manipal Hospital. So that stock has moved to the high point of trade. Sudarshan, any thoughts on this one? The 3-month chart indicates that it has been making higher tops and higher bottoms. Would you do anything here?
You're talking about Fortis?
Fortis Health, yes.
Yeah, it's an investment opportunity even at current levels. I don't think there's a trade here, but it's certainly a buy.
Okay, well, the Bank Nifty is in the red now and mid-cap index as well. And just keep an eye on advanced decline ratio because that would give us...
the gap is narrowing very rapidly.
It is. And let's look at some of the stocks. UPL is down about 1.5%. NMDC is down 1.5%. HDIL is down about 1%. Ashwini, any thoughts on metal names? Of course, in a long-term bull market, but uptrend. But any shorts opening up on any of the stocks?
See, I don't think it's a great idea to go short on metals while globally metal prices are rising. But at some point they will become buys. The market must bottom out for to take a serious buy position. So for the moment it's all choppy, but on declines, I think metals remains a buy, and also gas stocks. That is a commodity which is probably stronger than metals. So try to get long on the gas stocks.
All right, gentlemen, okay, let me just take one more stock before we wind up this initial pre-market conversation. ICICI Bank, that's showing, sudden weakness and more than other banking stocks, or at least the big banks. Sudarshan, is there a view on that stock?
Yeah, for an intraday trader, ICICI Bank is a short sell for the day. It's just intraday, but there is a short.
Okay, well, that's another short then. And as Anuj was pointing out, Bank Nifty going into the red, partly because of the ICICI Bank impact as well. Thank you, gentlemen. Ashwini, Sudarshan, Mitesh, we will of course touch base with you yet again for advice through the day. Mayuresh and Vinod, thank you very much for joining us in our pre-market conversation. The market's weakness is compelling. It had every bit of good news today to perhaps pull itself by the bootstraps, as it were.